As news around the world, across Africa and into the nation Nigeria, welcome to World News on Immaculate Television, ITVS, for today, September the 30th, 2025. First, the headlines. DSS sets to arraign Sowore on criminal charges over anti-Tinubu posts. And also Ghana school headmaster sanction for fondling students. Terror group rejects Trump's Gaza plan as Gazans voice doubt. Arab and Islamic foreign ministers endorses Trump's Gaza peace plan. And in the world of sports, Liverpool manager Slot denies interest in Osimhen during transfer window. Details of these stories and more to come. I am Grace Ugalahi. The Department of State Security Service DSS is set to arraign controversial activist Omoyele Sowore and two others on alleged cybercrime charges at the Federal High Court in Abuja today. Sowore and the two accused persons are to be docked for allegedly making false posts against President Bola Tinubu, allegedly to cause a breakdown of law and order in the country. At the time of this report, Sowore, a former presidential candidate, has arrived at the courtroom with a retinue of his followers to take his plea of being guilty or not guilty. The criminal charges filed on Tuesday, September 16, 2025 at the Federal High Court in Abuja list X Incorporation and Meta, Facebook, and two other defendants. Sowore and the two other defendants are to be docked on a 5-count charge, but only Sowore, who is the first defendant, is to be charged sheet is in court. In the 5-count criminal charges, Sowore was accused of using his official X handle page. The alleged offending post, said to be contrary to Section 24, Subsection 2B of the Criminal Crimes Prohibition and Prevention Act 2024, was said to have been made on August 25, 2025, within the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. And meanwhile, about 25 lawyers have stormed the court to represent Sowore in the trial. And away from Nigeria to Ghana, the Ghana Education Service has announced the removal of an assistant headmaster at Kenost Senior High School, Charles Akwasi Ado, from his post. In a video circulating on social media since last week, Ado is seen engaging in a lewd act with a female student as she records the activity. According to GES head of Public Relations, Daniel Feng, the authorities are viewing the matter with utmost seriousness to safeguard the integrity of the teaching profession. In a press release on Monday, Feng disclosed that Ado has been prohibited from going to school while investigations are being carried out. The spokesperson assured parents and the public that the appropriate disciplinary action will be taken in accordance with the established code of conduct. The Ghanaian Education Service reaffirmed its zero tolerance for misconduct and any act that compromises the safety, dignity, and well-being of students. And meanwhile, the probe initiated by the government has generated reactions with Ghanaians demanding a wider scrutiny to expose others who likewise abuse their office. And away from the African scene, the Islamic Jihad terror group has denounced U.S. President Donald Trump's newly unveiled Ghana peace plan, warning it would only fuel further violence across the Middle East. On the ground in Gaza, residents expressed a mix of deep skepticism and fragile optimism over the proposal, which called for a transitional Palestinian government led by technocrats, the release of all hostages, and the end of Hamas rule in the territory. Abu Mazen Nasser, a 52-year-old, while speaking with the press, described the plan as being designed to trick Palestinian groups into releasing hostages with no guarantee to end the war, calling it manipulation and a farce. Meanwhile, as Gazans debate whether Trump's initiative offers a path to peace or more turmoil, militant factions like Islamic Jihad insist the proposal represents not an ending to the conflict, but the beginning of a broader regional escalation. And still on that note, foreign ministers from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt have jointly welcomed U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to end Gaza war. In a joint statement issued on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, the 8 top diplomats expressed confidence in Trump's ability to find a path to peace and stated the importance of close partnership with Washington to secure stability. The ministers pointed out key elements of the U.S. plan, including an immediate ceasefire, the release of hostages, a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, and the reconstruction efforts to rebuild the war-torn territory while preventing the displacement of Palestinians. They also welcomed Trump's recent pledge to oppose any Israeli annexion of the West Bank. The group further reaffirmed support for a two-state solution, calling for the full integration of Gaza and the West Bank into the future Palestinian state in line with international law. And away from that, to the Middle East, European and Middle Eastern leaders have welcomed a U.S. peace plan for Gaza, as President Donald Trump has warned Hamas to accept it. The plan, agreed by Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, proposes an immediate end to fighting, the release within 72 hours of 20 living Israeli hostages held by Hamas, as well as the remains of more than 24 hostages who are believed to be dead, in exchange for hundreds of detained Gazans. According to a Palestinian source, Hamas officials have been given 20-point plan. The plan also states that Hamas will have no role in governing Gaza and leaves the door open for an eventual Palestinian state, but Netanyahu later again ruled this out. Speaking on Monday's news conference at the White House, Trump called the plan a historic day for peace, but he said Netanyahu would have U.S. backing to finish the job of destroying the threats of Hamas if Hamas did not agree to the plan. In a video statement shortly afterward, Netanyahu reinstated his long-standing opposition to a Palestinian state. And here's the report.
But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done.
Away from the Middle East, the Chinese national has been convicted in London for orchestrating a massive cryptocurrency fraud that led to the world's largest Bitcoin seizure, worth more than 5 billion euros, which is equivalent to $6.7 billion. Zamin Quinn, the suspect also known as Yadi Zan, pleaded guilty at Southwark Crown Court on Monday to allegedly acquiring and possessing tens of thousands of bitcoins obtained through a large-scale scam. Between 2014 and 2017, the suspect masterminded a scheme in China that duped more than 128,000 investors, luring them with promises of guaranteed profits and daily dividend at the height of cryptocurrency popularity. The Metropolitan Police confirmed it has also seized 61,000 bitcoins from the suspect, describing this case as the most significant cryptocurrency recovery in the United Kingdom. The suspect, aged 47, fled China using false documents and entered the UK, where she attempted to launder the stolen fortune through property investment. Meanwhile, police officials said the investigation remains ongoing and involves cooperation with Chinese authorities. And away from China, the Indonesian rescuers are racing against time to locate 38 people feared trapped beneath a rubble of an Islamic boarding school that collapsed during afternoon prayers in East Java, killing 3 and injuring dozens. This was made mention by officials on Tuesday. The tragedy struck the AI Kanzo building boarding school in Sadijo, about 780 kilometers east of Jakarta, on Monday. According to Mohamed Siafer, the head of Indonesia's Search and Rescue Agency, 3 people were confirmed dead, while 99 others survived the collapse. He also confirmed that nearly 80 of the injured have been taken to hospital. Abdul Muhari, the spokesperson for the National Disaster Mitigation Agency, also explained that the building, already under construction, collapsed suddenly during prayers, sending debris crashing down on students and workers. The agency added that the building's foundation were allegedly insufficient to support construction of the 4th floor. And finally, in the world of sports, Liverpool manager Arne Slot has dismissed suggestions that Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen was a serious transfer target for the Premier League champions during the summer window. Recall that Osimhen was linked with Premier League clubs like Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea in the summer transfer window before he completed a record-breaking transfer move to Galatasaray. Speaking at his pre-match press conference ahead of Liverpool's UEFA Champions League tie with Galatasaray on Tuesday, Slot clarified that his team's plan during the summer transfer window were centered around signing the likes of Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike following the departure of Darwin Nunez to Saudi Arabia and the tragic death of Diogo Jota. And that ends the world news. But before we go, here's a recap of the major stories. We brought you news from Nigeria that the federal government and DSS has set to arraign Omoyele Sowore in Abuja court over alleged false post against President Tinubu. And also brought you news that Ghanaian Education Service has removed the assistant headmaster of North High School over sexual engagement with students. And also terror group has rejected Trump's Gaza plan as Gazans voice doubt. And also Chinese fraudster has been convicted in UK over 5 million euros Bitcoin scam regarded as world's largest crypto seizure. And in the world of sports, Liverpool manager Slot denies interest in Osimhen during transfer window. And that ends the world news. The news was compiled and edited by S.C. Miracle. I am Grace Ugalahi. Many thanks for listening and bye for now.